say that if it doesn't go so well,
Yeah.
Hero's probably going to come out.
And honestly, we may need a hero because the Steve Ditto is absolutely no joke.
It's something, and into game we go though, and I expect to see a lot of minecarts, and that's the main thing. And I'm kind of glad they have gone to this Minecraft stage for just because, just the aesthetic, right?
Exactly. If you're going to be playing Steve versus Steve, then you may as well complete the Minecraft experience and bring it to Minecraft, bring it home, really. But it's always, one thing that's always interesting to watch about the Steve Ditto is seeing how or like any Dittos, what is the counterplay to your main? How do you guys play around minecart? We're already seeing MazeBeans pull out the no impact landings to position himself for the minecarts, just ready to F-smash it. But at the moment, it just seems to be quite a bit of chaos, personally.
I mean, the main thing is Maze got diamond somehow way before Gaia did, when they were both just mining for the same amount of time. So I don't quite understand that one. But now both players having diamond online, and to be honest, a very even start to the set. You see the minecarts traded again, just right there. That's something we're going to see quite a lot, I believe, those minecarts trading. But no one really getting off to too big of a lead at this point. It'll be interesting to see who the first kill goes to. Looks like MazeBeans
the footstool! But can they make it back? Oh, they both make it back. But I believe I posed the question earlier, what is the counterplay to minecart? We're seeing the back airs from Steve, but I'm also seeing minecarts get beaten with minecart. So I guess, you know, sometimes forget rock, paper, scissors. Why try to beat fire with anything but fire, you know?
I mean, why beat them when you can join them?
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly.
I didn't realize how dark this stage got during this part of the cycle.
Indeed, indeed. It's definitely, we're absolutely getting to see the beauty of the night biome at the moment. And it truly complements the insane ability of both players.
That diamond back air has some insane kill power. But yeah, both stocks have been lost now at this point. Minecart bouncing back and forth, but actually gets picked back up by Gaia. Not quite what was going for there. But MazeBeans not really managed to pull a lead out in this first game like I maybe expected him to do so. There was quite a convincing win at KO. So this being a lot closer set gives a lot of praise needs to be given to Gaia for that, I believe, for that adaptation and the improvements that have been made since then.
Indeed, indeed. But it's just really funny to watch this. There's a lot of like simultaneous actions from both players, like the minecarts at the same time. But at the same time, if there's any character where you're aware of their setups, it is going to be your main. So as a result, MazeBeans is pulling ahead. Their resource management usually is one of their weaker areas of their gameplay, but you look at their resources right now, they got enough to fund the entire bank.
Yeah, it feels like every time there's this kind of like trade-off of I'm going to mine, so you're going to mine, it's MazeBeans starting that trade-off, and so it always seems to end up on the correct end of it, for sure. Already has a spare diamond in the back as well, so already looking good for the final stock if he needs it.
Indeed, indeed.
Gaia trying to be a bit fancy with these minecarts, so they're getting to bounce off a couple of blocks, get them to change up the timings so that MazeBeans get caught off guard, but not managing to connect. That forward throw is going to send the Gaia off stage. MazeBeans not managing to edge guard the Elytra too easily right there, and it does kind of reset a bit, but Maze is holding very nice stage control here, and the question is, can Gaia get back on? Ooh,
I think the big thing with MazeBeans that's allowing him to get such a lead resource and like just general is the fact that he's playing a lot of a simpler game at the moment, a lot of a simpler game plan. So as a result of him opting to use movement and just positioning rather than pure setups in the way that Gaia is it means that he's using a lot less resources. And as a result, he's able to keep it simple and land the kills in the definite areas that he needs to.
And that was definitely the bread and butter. Grab with minecart. Just wait for them to mash out, hit the back air. It's a very, very bread and butter Steve combo.
Just keeping it simple, and as a result, he's not investing much resources into these setups, and as a result, he's constantly in a much better position than Gaia is to just immediately answer any traps that Gaia is able to set up, because eventually, you run out of resources, and when you run out of resources, Steve doesn't have the minecarts and anvils that everyone fears. So as a result, MazeBeans is just happy to hold advantage for as long as he needs to.
Are we gonna see the hero?
I think we're hearing the hero music, so I think it's time for a hero.
Yep, yeah, I'm seeing that hero hovered. The hero is locked in. So here we go into game 2. It's now hero versus Steve. MazeBeans with a 1-0 lead, and what can Gaia do to react and to overcome that 1-0 deficit?
Now, this matchup is actually pretty interesting because it's one of the few matchups where Steve actually gets less off of camping than the opponent, I believe anyway. Because with Menu, for example, you can immediately get Mega Mushroom, you can get the Infinity Stones with Psych Up, Accelerator, and Oomph. But Steve just kind of gets Diamond. And Diamond is broken, don't get me wrong, but so is turning on items in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
There's a lot of broken things in that menu that Steve doesn't have answers to, but MazeBeans off to a very, very, very good start here, using the Get Up attack invulnerability to get through that TNT very nicely, but Gaia's still on the ledge. Up smash, it's going to take the first stock, and that's a big lead coming out in this game too. MazeBeans only on 13% himself.
Within the first 30 seconds as well. I barely had time to collect my thoughts, and MazeBeans has already got the first stock. But immediately, wherever Gaia wants to go to set up their stuff, MazeBeans is actually capitalizing on the fact that he gets less off of camping. So as a result, he's constantly in Gaia's face. There's never really room for Gaia to abuse the menu, but Bounce. Bounce is here. Remember, Bounce is here.
But is it going to be enough to make up this deficit? Already at 100% himself, Gaia, and it doesn't feel like MazeBeans has really been using too many projectiles. More just saying, I'm going to scrap with you, and that scrapping gets another up smash and another stock.
Indeed, indeed. And honestly, instead of playing the usual Steve game, Gaia has yet to find an answer to the rushdown Steve that MazeBeans is presenting, because the pressure is unrelenting, these down tilts, these aerials. What is the answer here, Mero?
I don't really know what the answer is myself, to be honest, because it just feels like MazeBeans went, oh, you're playing this character because you just want to camp me out. Well, you're probably not as proficient as this character as some of the other heroes I might have experience against, so I'm just going to get in your face and see what you can do about it, which is very much the correct thing to do against a hero that wants to menu. And it's now up to Gaia to show that he not only can menu as a hero, but also knows how to just use the neutral tools that Hero does have, because there are some very nice disjoints and some other nice aerials that Hero does have.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. We're seeing them come out right here, the bounce. Also the side Bs just to control horizontal space, because otherwise Steve gets to like mine for free. Whereas the side Bs, I believe, hit through the walls, and regardless, there's so much stage control. That's covers such a large area. But almost completing the Pythagoras chart needed to find that kill, but not quite. Unfortunately, the mathematics will be very disappointed in you at the moment. Yeah,
Maze very smartly putting that block behind him. Every time he seems to come back to this ledge, just saying, well, you can't kill me now because I've got something to my back end. But Gaia managed to find a way. Those wooden blocks not lasting quite as long as the stone ones used earlier.
Indeed, indeed. And at the moment, even though there's quite a deficit, Maze is really pretty low on resources.
Yeah, I mean, but we say low on resources. I'm looking at 20 mana.
Yeah, that is true.
Hero's got a lot of mana to work with here. You can't sit there menuing if you've not got the mana to do so. You've got to be interacting with the Steve to manage to get that mana back up.
And that's quite scary because no character in the game really wants to fight an up-close game against Steve. Ultimately, we're going to be seeing more of these sword normals come out so that Gaia can get more menu stuff. But at 100%, if you mess up once, you die. So the risk reward is a lot more terrifying.
Yeah, taking that accelerate 100% is very scary as well, making you just even easier to kill than you would be usually.
Indeed. You fall faster, and on top of that, I believe you turn into Fox's weight.
Yeah,
so becoming as light as Fox.
Light as Fox. I knew you got lighter. Didn't know you got as light as Fox.
You get as light as Fox. It's insane.
Yeah, it's very scary taking that kill percent. But I guess if you're like, I'm already dead if I get hit by up smash, it doesn't make much difference.
Indeed. I believe MazeBeans is hovering a few counterpick characters.
I think Maze definitely sticks with the Steve here. Maze in doubles loves to throw out a lot of different characters, but on singles, you always seem to see the Steve all the way through.
Indeed, indeed.
But what can we see this game 3 out of Gaia to kind of bring anything back? Because it very much feels like Maze just has his number right now, Scores.
At the moment, Gaia's just getting harassed in CQC. He needs to find a way to get away. Because every time he tries to, finds a way back through the barrage of Minecraft blocks. But how will he get back to neutral? How will he get out of this precarious situation?
And even if you get back to neutral, you've already lost half your mana just to get back to stage.
Exactly. It's an insane investment, but you gotta make, that's why once you get back, you gotta make everything count, because Maze is completely harassing Gaia every opportunity. But as opposed to the usual Steve gameplay where you see walls, we're just seeing a lot of rush down, dash attacks, grabs, etc. So Gaia needs to take things a little bit slower. He needs to find a way to successfully wall out these attempts that MazeBeans is doing, because he's kind of rushing straight back in. When in reality, you need to get your space, hold stage, and abuse space normals. Like the side B we're seeing, like the back airs, the forward airs, just really do everything that makes heroes abuse the true extent of heroes' range. Yep.
But you can see that Gaia is using his Steve knowledge to the best of his ability with that forward throw, knowing it's going to hit into that block, teching the block instead of dying at very early percent. Does manage to mash out the minecart, get himself back into neutral. But can he actually manage to get anything going is the question. Getting in neutral is one thing, but if you can't string more than 1 or 2 hits together, this Steve is just going to start running away with it. Back throw off stage does put Gaia in another bad situation. And Maze just happy to kind of sit there, keep mining blocks.
He said, you know what, your mana's running low, but you know what isn't? The resources in my bank. You guys have to hold that. And at the moment, it's just running away and away and away. These resources going into these minecarts, taking the stock. What is Gaia's answer here? He's taking his time, but he needs to take it even slower. Because every time he commits the menu.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of unsafe options, really. You kind of feel like he's panicking, not really waiting to see, or waiting for Maze to kind of do something that's a bit more unsafe. And, oh, the anvil just going to...
Almost got the setup into the forward air there. That would have been insane.
Yeah, I was very scared for a moment. Just managed to tech off the block just there. But the down smash is going to take, you know, not quite going to take it. Zoom is going to get Gaia back onto the stage, that very low mana ability. Up smash not going to quite connect.
But we're not seeing any punish on the up smash, and I think that's a big indicator as well. Maze is just kind of able to set up their game, and on the top of being able to harass, it's ultimately a case of like, you need to find those hits, you need to capitalize on those openings to get back into it, because otherwise you can't quite find the way back. And with that, MazeBeans takes it 3-0 over Gaia. Yeah,
very convincing set out of MazeBeans. Very impressive. I have seen during that unfortunately Zanatti is out in losers.
Oh, he is. I see.
Yeah. So that is